Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Elders Wisdom.
Where are you, Marion?
I'm somewhere in the world.
You look a bit, you look a bit wet to me.
Bit disheveled. Look at me dripping on everything. Just jumped out of the pool, darling. Oh, I'm at the Source Centre. Beautiful place in the southwest France.
Oh, how amazing.
Heat wave and pool time necessary. So yes. It's a
Wow,
very
that's
interesting time of our lifetime to be in France, as we will share more over the next hour. How are you,
yes.
Juliet?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, yeah, usual thing. Usual thing. We tried to. We had a little rerun earlier to sort things out. We had a little bit of a problem, but anyway, we are not live on Facebook.
Are we
Uh,
not?
But maybe our lovely Jack is here. Oh, yes, we are live on Facebook. Greetings, lovelies, loud and clear on Facebook. Oh, that's
Oh,
beautiful. Thank you so much, Jack, because when I look at Facebook, it doesn't tell me anything. So, yeah, we've had a little bit of a practice run this afternoon, and it's amazing because I am also calling you from the outback. Debbie says, hello, we're live. And this is a historic call for me because I'm in the middle of the rainforest, deep in the valley of a forest, and there's no signal here. There's no Wi-Fi normally. There's no phone signal, and here we are, absolutely live on Facebook, live and clear. And you've just come out the swimming pool, and I've just come out of the river. I've had a lovely, lovely swim in the river this afternoon.
hmm.
So what's responsible for this amazing appearance? Is it God on our side that we're managing to transmit this afternoon from these distant places, or what?
That would be a nice assumption to make. Yes.
Well, I have to admit that after trying to tackle an insurmountable problem for so long, I am very grateful to Elon Musk for Starlink. So
Mm.
I've managed to set up Starlink, and
It's weird, isn't it? Because that's such a double-edged sword. He's filling our stratosphere with shenanigans, and there we are. That's it. Actually makes life easier as well. What
it
a
is.
double-edged sword.
It is, and he's getting the shit for it. But there's lots of people sending up satellites, and I was once before with a satellite company in the outback here, but it didn't work at all. It was really bad. But hopefully, tell me, everyone, are you seeing it okay? Are we streaming okay?
They told us live, loud and clear.
Okay, but are we frozen, or is it actually working?
If we're frozen, they won't know. They won't be able to tell us. We can't ask them.
Okay. Anyway, my the streaming set up, and that was easy, but I've had the most awful time today on Restream. It's not a platform that I recommend. Um, or maybe
Shush.
it wasn't Restream, maybe it was my computer. I don't know what caused the problems, but we had a lot of problems. But we're here now.
We don't have any now.
We don't have any.
Yeah.
So yeah, so tonight we are going to be talking about two things. We're going to be talking about some amazing things that you've been doing recently. We'll call that the good part of the discussion, okay? Because we like to end with something very positive, and what's the solution, what's the remedy for what we're faced with.
Mhm.
That comes at the end, and at the beginning, we're going to be talking about the Olympic ceremony, which is on the lips of everyone around the world. I'm sure you've all seen it. Yeah. Have we all been looking at the Olympic ceremony?
Didn't need to. I've heard it enough from people. It's interesting though, isn't it? Because the one before 2020 was all about viruses. What was the one? What was 2016? What was the opening ceremony then? Do you know?
Well, I don't know, but Archbishop it's interesting because Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, I think Vigano, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but I did get my Italian friend this afternoon to send me a WhatsApp message telling me how to pronounce it. Anyway, he's the Archbishop that was actually excommunicated by the Pope, and he's the Archbishop that is a friend of Sasha Stone's, I believe, that's giving Sasha Stone all the inside information, including gave Sasha information that there was going to be a false flag attack and some poison put into the Seine and whatever. But in fact, it seems like there's a lot of shite in the Seine. That's what I'm hearing. But anyway, Vigano, Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, he says that these satanic rituals are a recurring theme.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If we look back at all of the opening ceremonies for years now, I don't know when it started. It'd be interesting, actually. I wonder if there must be somebody who's done a bit of research on these things.
Well, there is a person which I also wanted to tell you about, and his name is Ole Damagard. So he did a interview with Mark Atwood, our friend Mark Atwood.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, on Rumble the other day.
Cool.
Called How We've Been Hoodwinked to Fall for So Many Evil Agendas.
Yeah.
Well, I put that on my Facebook page, and instantly I was blocked. There's two things on Facebook that I was blocked for this week, and it was taken down, not allowed. One was that interview, and the other was the picture of the naked person at the Olympic ceremony that everybody is complaining about.
Is this the one that was painted blue?
That is it, but he wasn't actually naked. He had writing, a box over the bottom part of him with writing saying, "This is the nude photograph that everybody's complained about." I put that on Facebook, and that was instantly taken down as well. So I don't know.
He was naked in the procession.
Yeah, but he wasn't naked when I put him on Facebook. He was completely boxed in and unnaked, just with writing on it. But apparently, the Olympic ceremonies. Oh, but I'm not answering your question. Let me just stay with what I'm saying. So, Ola Damagard, because you said it would be interesting to know how many of these satanic rituals there have been. So, Ola Damagard has got a website called lightonconspiracies.com, which is very, very informative. And he's got loads of tabs. I would really recommend you to go there and look, and he's probably documented every single one of those ceremonies. We'll come back to what he was saying a bit later on. I just want to continue with what Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano, however you say it. So what he said, Vigano, he said there was the 2016 Gotthard tunnel opening ceremony.
Yeah, so that was massive. They used Nataraj for that, you know. They really love to demonize beautiful, traditional, religious iconism, whatever it's called. Mm-hmm. They love it because the Nataraj is the image I've got on my living room wall at home. And it's a beautiful aspect of what Shiva brings. And the circle of life and the ability to stay centered when all around you is losing its marbles. It's such a wonderful form. And they used it in that opening, that tunnel opening, and it was very demonic.
Well, they basically, I mean, that's the whole thing about Satan, isn't it? That they turn everything upside down. They defile and desecrate everything.
Everything's sacred.
Yeah. So they destroy.
Desecrate means to desacredize, doesn't it? Desecrate. It's sacred. Yeah. Desacred.
Yeah. So so we did an Elders Wisdom about a month ago, when we showed the 2012 London Olympics and the all the stuff predicting the pandemic.
Yeah.
With the children in the beds and the demons coming for them and everything.
And the big virus, loads of viruses, those bubbles with all the sticky out legs, which is a complete fiction because no virus has ever been seen. And if it was, it would never look like that.
No virus has ever been isolated. It doesn't conform to, is it Goth's or Koch's? Goth's costume?
Cox postulate.
That's right. Yes. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Archbishop
Vigano.
Vigano, he said, did anyone notice that the single rider on a pale horse is straight out of the book of Revelation? And then the quote is from Revelation. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill, and to kill with sword, with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. So he's really, Archbishop Vigano has really condemned. I mean, he's got a very long post on X about it. He's really condemned what went on.
Good. He's brilliant though. He's been a conspiracy buddy for years, hasn't he? He's great.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I don't know what he was excommunicated for.
For being truthful, for exposing the truth. That's why he was excommunicated.
Okay, well, this is interesting because this is a very interesting, Ola Damagard, interesting interview with Mark as well, because he says he's been attacked loads of times. And he's done very, very in-depth research about false flag attempts. And he can predict them months in advance.
Wow.
Because he's so tuned in now to all the signs. And he says that they're all color-coded.
Yeah, wow.
Well, you know, we've had this discussion about, was it the black hats, was it the white hats that have done this? That every single thing that the satanic people do, they color code it. And purple is a color often used for the satanic ones. You said you'll always see that color in the video somewhere where there's a report of a shooting or whatever going on. And he talks a lot also about the MK Ultra mind control, and talks about how we're all actually mind controlled because how they set up these false flag events all the time. So it's just terror after terror after terror. And then in the media, in all their stuff they're putting out, are these symbols that lie around all the time. So when you see that symbol, then it brings you back into that state of activation of being terrified, you know, that trauma activation.
Yeah.
And he said one of the symbols that are found frequently are shoes randomly lying around.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen that, Marion.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I've seen. I mean, I don't see it anymore, but I've heard of it, and I know when I did see it was. You can see that because there's a lot of really great people who are making great videos and good content, isn't there? Just hard to find. Sadly, Elon is actually letting us down big time, because there are a lot of people who are still having their accounts closed down, and he's very selective about who he gives back their account to.
Really?
I'm hearing more and more about how he's actually not doing what people think he's doing. He's very selectively choosing who gets airtime on X. Yeah.
Well,
And often it's it's a sort of the militant end. So then it becomes a much more aggressive opposition, if you like, to the already aggressive dark shit that's going on. You know, it's like two wrongs don't make a right. A hand for a hand, the eye for an eye, the fucking world would go blind. So that's the energy that he's playing in at the moment, which doesn't serve us, because he's not showing the real openness, the real truth, and the people who are doing the good work.
Well,
he's showing people who get really angry and letting their anger dictate what happens, you know. So we need to just really, for me, this is all about inner authority. This is all about, there's nothing outside of any of us that is better or bigger or more authoritarian than what we hold within. And every time we go looking externally for some validation or some truth, we won't find what's deeply true and validating and in alignment with ourselves, because that's our own inner authority. And that's where our power is always going to be hijacked, is always going to be taken away. The overlords, the overpowering, the authoritarian energy.
That's right. And when there's mind control stuff goes on through the media, and we're in a state of shock, in a state of fear all the time, then we lose our connection. We just go into this blind state of panic the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack is saying something interesting. He said they are saying that it wasn't supposed to be the Last Supper on the Olympics, so ask not why Christians mistook this perversion of Bacchanalia celebration for the Last Supper. Ask why the Olympic Committee chose to portray a Bacchanalia celebration to resemble the Last Supper. It could have been done so very differently.
It's lies. It's lies.
It's lies, yes.
And they continue to lie, don't they? It's like when somebody, you know, like Hillary or somebody like that, because they have their story and they stick to it. And it doesn't matter. You know, it's like having an ice cream on your face as a 3-year-old. And your mum says, have you eaten an ice cream? And you go, no. And it's dripping off your chin. And your mum goes, you've eaten ice cream? No, no, I haven't. And you will not stop lying because it's like your life depends on you sticking to your story. But that's okay if you're 3, you know, but if you're running a country or you're an authority for any group of people, to stand barefaced lie and hold the lie without any, doesn't matter how much evidence is pushed at you, you hold the lie, hold the lie, hold the lie.
Yeah. Well, so many people have been condemning. I mean, I've never seen the world in such an uproar. And if anything, it's bringing attention to the Satanism.
Well, it's the apocalypse. Yeah, the apocalypse just means the unveiling, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's
And
absolutely
the apocalyptic horse.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not just that there's this satanic ritual for these big, these ceremonies, but it's absolutely in our faces, absolutely everywhere that we look, all the time.
Yeah.
And once seen, it can't be unseen. So I'm just curious why the Olympic organizers did the ceremony, and then because of the outcry, then they tried to pull it back and say, okay, well, we're sorry. I mean, was that part of the whole thing as well, the pulling back? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why did they do that?
It's too late, too little, too late.
Mm.
What they did was out there, and it's not the first time, is it? When you look back, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this guy says. Looking back at how many Olympic processions or other openings or ceremonies have absolutely just been satanic rituals. It's been going on forever, and you're going to show us something that still goes on a daily basis because there's part of the Catholic Church.
Yes. Why did they put it?
Face demonic, isn't it?
Why did they put it out so strongly? Because I mean, it was awful.
I think they've got carried away with themselves because they perceive they've got so much power. They've got, you know, men are competing in women's sports. They believe they've done it. They believe it's a fait accompli, that they've got in there and they're screwing up the gender thing and they've done it. So why wouldn't they put on a massive big show to go, yeah, look at us all being gender neutral or gender-tastic, whatever they think they are? Because I think it was just a false sense of they've got much further ahead with their own agenda, and that they perceive because they've got that far ahead that they have got it into the mind of the general public. They don't understand that the general public don't say nothing until it's the last minute, and then they jump up and down and go bonkers.
Yeah.
Because we've sat and taken so much and tolerated so much, and you know everybody's worried about being called a fucking racist or a homophobe, to the point where, you know, there's blokes with their fucking bollocks hanging out next to children on a worldwide procession.
That's another thing. The child there is that apparently.
Oh, the guy went like this. He's got his bollocks hanging out, pointing. His dick was pointing at the child, and he's done this, like the guillotine, or we'll take the blood, we'll cut the throat. And he did it to the child. He did it in the direction. He gestured it in the direction of the child. That was
Not only that, but I also saw that the child was directed to be sexually touching herself.
Yes.
So it's also promoting paedophilia.
Exactly.
And the fact that, you know, the child was in this ceremony, and then there's been other things saying that she was trafficked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was just, I do have a little video on Twitter if we want to look at it, on X, which is about 10 minutes, but we're a bit short of time now. So basically, who are you shushing? Is there someone there that we should see that's
No,
just
there's
not
somebody here that doesn't like being on camera.
guess who that is? Anyway, so this video on Twitter, which I won't show, but I'll put the link underneath here so you can look if you want to.
Yeah, because if we're on Facebook, we need to be cautious, don't we, of what we put out, just so it stays up for a little while.
Yeah. So he's talking about the Olympics is actually the same as the Super Bowl. You know, the Super Bowl where all the crowds.
Yes, that always has. Yeah, that was terrible last year. They had like cells, didn't they? Prison cells. And everybody was meant to go and live in a prison cell. It was the FEMA camps. It was kind of glamorizing it or something with bloody Snoop Dogg, who was a complete satanic.
I avoided watching it last time. The previous year was bad enough, but that these places are these ceremonies are places where the elite.
That's how they hijack us, isn't it? That's how they hijack us, because these huge ceremonies that we see as, you know, the FA Cup final or the Super Bowl, or these, the amount of eyes and attention focused on that one event, they've captured millions and millions and millions of people, if not billions. So that's where they go, right, brilliant, let's put on a fucking show. And here they go. The show must go on, man.
But they also, it's also like a marketplace. They go there to traffic children and to have orgies with children. I mean, that's the video that I've got the link to, talking about how that happens, how the elite turn up to the Olympic Games, not to see the games, but to actually be engaged in.
The same with the Bilderbergers, isn't it? When the Bilderbergers are on, the amount of prostitutes that flock to that town is incredible, of all shapes and sizes.
Absolutely. So John says, whichever religion they were mocking, the fact remains that they shouldn't have been mocking any religion. Satanists mock everyone. That's what he said.
You know, it's interesting though, isn't it? Because again, how many levels, how many aspects are there to these pieces? Religion has been one set of fuckery going on, hasn't it? You know, it's screwed up a lot of my ancestry, this whole Catholicism and the shame and the guilt and the anti-sexuality, which then led to the paedophilia with the priest. So religion itself is horrible in many aspects because it's another control mechanism. It's another mass mind control mechanism. But the beauty of the spiritual aspects that many people gain from religion is beautiful, because that's where people keep their spiritual connection. But again, a religion will always be a dogmatic, authoritarian God above, pope above, priest above, no inner authority. There's not a religion that I know that talks about inner authority. Well, Buddhism does, but Buddhism says it's not a religion.
Yeah. So big topics there.
Yeah.
What's her name? Janet and Cynthia Osband, who did The Fall of the Cabal. They also did a documentary on the Catholic Church, the usurping of the Catholic Church, and what you have. You think it's Catholic, but it's not. It's satanic. And they document back to it goes beyond the Jesuits. Prior to
that, the first bankers, aren't they? They was part of the setting up of the first banking stuff.
The Khazarian mafia that took over the Church of Rome. So it's
give me a child till the age of 7 and I'll show you a man that will never leave the church.
Yeah. So it's interesting that Archbishop Vigano has come out against this. Everybody's coming out against what's happened, but we've heard nothing from the Pope.
Because luckily, Vigano is one of the people in the church who is at that spiritual place. He's about, you know, Jesus and love and the spiritual aspects that are the beautiful parts that have been hijacked by Christianity and Catholicism. He's one of the few, I think. who actually holds that line, that spiritual line with great integrity. There are a few priests and a few nuns who do as well, you know, that really hold in to this place of being very humane and very spiritual. But there's so many that are totally MK ultra'd out of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot about the Catholic Church actually being involved in human trafficking as well, isn't
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Tunnels.
And the money under the Vatican. I mean, the amount of wealth that, and they still every Sunday they go around all their little poor churches expecting all their poor congregation to give money to the church.
Yeah.
I hate that. 'Cause I've traveled in some really super, super poor communities, and it seems the poorer they are, the more churchgoers there are. And it's so sad because they give and give and give to a place that actually they should be receiving from, not fucking giving to.
Mm.
It boils my piss, it does.
Oh, where do you get that expression from?
I don't know. Just it feels true. It's a feeling state, isn't it? I don't know where it come from. Boils my piss.
No.
Yeah. So who's saying what? I can see there's a bit of commentary going on here. Tell me what's going on.
Oh well, I just wanted to show you this picture now because
Oh yes, go on then. Let's see the picture.
so we're talking about the Pope. I want to share this picture, which is very interesting. This is
It's very thing by his absence, isn't he? With not saying anything about all of this bloody shenanigans at the Olympics.
so I don't know if you can see this, everyone. This is the audience hall of the Pope. I think it's the audience hall.
Yeah, it's in the Vatican, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a giant snake's head. So this presumably is the Pope up here on the stage, and this is like two big eyes, and these are like fangs here. It's really very spooky, and apparently behind him, I don't know if it's in this place or another place, that there's this statue as well that's really very, very heavy and dark statue. So why would the Pope? Why would the Pope have that? You know, the amount of money and effort that went into creating that building.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jack says, whichever religion. Oh right, we had that one. No one else has commented. All
I
right.
can see loads of comments, Juliet.
Sorry.
I can see loads of comments here.
God, how can you see all
One,
the comments?
2, 3, 4. I can't read them. 1, 2, 3. There's like 6, 7, 8, 9 comments. That's probably all of them since the beginning, actually. 6, 7. Yeah, there's
all since the beginning. Is there anybody's comments that I've missed? Please comment again. I don't think there's any more here, Marion.
Yeah. So the other thing they've done is there was all this talk about the Seine, the river, wasn't there? And it's been going on for a while about the poisoning of the Seine. And then the prime minister guy said, "Oh, it's not poisoned. I'm going to swim in it." But he's not in power anymore, so he's not going to. And then somebody else in the French government have said, "I'm going to get into the water of the Seine to prove to everybody that it's not toxic and poisoned like everybody's talking about." So there's all this weird information. And then what they've done is put this whole toxic shenanigans celebration of toxicity. And that was actually took place on the river. It wasn't at the stadium.
Oh, well, Sasha Stone's, I don't know what you call it. The thing that he said a few months back was that the Seine was going to be poisoned with a poison that would cause another pandemic, some lethal virus or something like that. And immediately he announced that he was then, the FBI went round and asked him where he'd got his information from. And apparently he'd got his information from Archbishop Vigano.
Uh-huh.
So maybe they had second thoughts about doing that now in the
Maybe they got caught.
Yeah. But the other thing about these politicians in France and Vigano, Archbishop Vigano, also denouncing, it's very interesting, he's saying, well, Macron is married to a man.
Yeah.
So is...
I'm not old enough to be his father.
Yeah. And Kissinger was. I mean, this is a whole other thing about the satanic, and this is the kind of basis to this transgender movement. It's a
And there's
satanic.
Mohap. Mohap is Michelle Obama has a penis. And that's what it means. But people say Mohap and they don't really even know what it means. You can't Google it because Google won't fucking tell you what it means. But yeah, I've seen it. There's a couple of people that I follow and they're very, very comedy boy energy, shouty, ranty, and talk about stuff like this. And one of them, Salty Cracker, I've mentioned him a few times, haven't I? He was being interviewed by somebody recently, and all of his audience were watching, and they were all going, talk about Mohap, talk about Mohap. And the guy that was interviewing said, "What's this Mohap thing?" And Salty Cracker went, "No, no, no, don't mention that. Don't say that again. Don't be reading the comments from my fans." He said. And then when the interviewer guy saw what it meant, he was like, "Okay, well, we won't be mentioning that again. That's definitely not something I'm ever prepared to talk about."
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, it's an elite thing to change your sex, the
Yes.
sex of a child, is that the elite torture their children and do sex changes on them. That's part of the whole thing, and in that process, they're becoming mind controlled,
Yeah.
which means that they're then able to do absolutely anything. You know, they will take any orders, any instructions to keep it
Absolutely.
as
And
evil as you like.
that point is interesting because in this last week in the UK, there's been a lot of frenzied stab attacks, including the massive one recently. But what is triggering people to go on a frenzied knife attack? There's some trigger, there's some mind control thing going on, because it's not been that one incident in South. There's been loads going on in the last week. And a couple of them have been in the news, but they're all frenzied knife attacks. So there is some messaging that they've received, and that could be through computer games. It could be through all sorts. There's loads of different ways to get this programming
That's
into
what
the mind.
Ola Dama, whatever his name is saying, is that people get triggered when they get programmed,
Yeah.
and the seeing the shoe or whatever in the media is the trigger.
Yes.
But
Yes.
the other thing I read about recently, that there is computer to skull technology, and that there are reports of people that took the jab that actually, oh my God, what's that? Something, the devil is trying to come in here. Did you see that black thing come over my video?
Was it a creepy crawly? We love creepy crawlies.
It's just a creepy crawly. It's like,
Fantastic.
oh my God, there's this clawing black thing going across my face on the video. Yes, so this computer to skull technology that puts thoughts into people's minds.
Yeah.
That there were people reporting that they had the jab and they didn't want to have it, but the voice came in their head, "I'm going to have it." And
Yeah.
the same technology used to make people do violent acts.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the States they do frenzied gun attacks, don't they? But because we don't really have guns here, they use knives instead.
Yeah.
But there's something that
Go on.
I say there's this idea of the trigger, the shoe or the color, or this is well known, isn't it? I remember watching Darren Brown do a reconstruction of how you could get someone like to shoot JFK or something, and he did it, and it was somebody shot Stephen Fry on stage in the West End at a theatre. Now, obviously, they'd given the shooter a dummy gun, but Stephen Fry did pretend to die on stage. I think it was Stephen Fry. But it was very clever what Darren did, because he showed exactly how you would find somebody who is easily programmable, and they're easy to find. And once they're easily programmable, and you set them up with a few different things, you program it in, you show them what the trigger was. The trigger they used on that night was a woman with a blue dress with white polka dots on it. As soon as she walked in, this guy at the back of the theatre took the gun and shot the guy on stage. And then he didn't even remember doing it.
No,
It was
well,
brilliant.
that's what Kathy O'Brien talks about in Transformation of America, because she managed to deprogram herself when she escaped from the ruling elite. She was in the MK Ultra program. She was a member of a generational ritual satanic family, and she was sold to the CIA as a child for the MK Ultra programs, and then she was made into a presidential model, serving the presidents and the elite sexually. and she'd be sent on missions across to South America, etc., trafficking cocaine and arranging all sorts of trafficking deals and all sorts of things. And her brain was so compartmentalized that she'd be given her instructions and then the trigger, and she would do it, and then she would be switched off again. She had no idea, no idea. And she
Yeah.
said there's hundreds of people, thousands of people have had that done to them. She
Yeah.
was a lone person.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and she says the same stuff is now being rolled out on people, in our population. So we have lovely Carol here. We have
Yeah.
lovely Therese. Hi, Carol. Hi, my darling. We have lovely Therese. Thank you, Therese, for coming. And we have Debbie and Graham, who are on an 11-hour journey. Where have you been? They're on an 11-hour journey.
Where are you going? I hope it's somewhere gorgeous.
No, they're nearly home. They're saying they're nearly home, and they're watching us in their car. Well,
Oh,
I hope I hope you keep your eye on the road. Anyway, so that's the darkness and doom, but the important thing is, like, how do we actually stop ourselves from being programmed? How do we keep our connection?
yeah, it's very
How
important.
do we stay healed? How do we stay resourced? Oh, they've gone to pick up a greenhouse. Oh wow, you must have wanted that greenhouse a lot. Yeah.
Good.
So you've been doing some amazing work this week, haven't you, Mary?
Resourcing, absolutely, absolutely resourcing. Let me show you. Let me just show you something.
With our lovely Brigitte. Wow. Tell us about it.
She's not even dry yet. She's still all squidgy here, very squidgy, because it's still wet and greasy and fatty. It's lovely. It's a piece of bison. And it's not even dry. You can imagine what it's going to be like when it's dry.
It's going to be very loud.
I've been making a drum. We have it's also got a little bit of elk. This is elk skin here, just these little V shapes of elk. The rest of it is all bison. And this is a piece of American ash from a tree, an American ash tree. And that even gives you a drum. It's just gorgeous. I love it. And a nice big plait to hang it with, made from elk. So it's elk and bison drum. Wow. And it was the journey of creating that drum started in 2019. And the parts were, well, the skin was purchased in 2020. And then the shenanigans meant that I didn't make it to come over here.
The lockups.
Yeah, we got locked in. And after having a lock-in meant that I couldn't come to France and make my drum. So it's been waiting here for 4 years for me. So I've spent the last 5 days in a creation mode. And that is the result of the last 5 days of work that we've done here. And it's just been such a great process. So I'm really glad the shenanigans happened, because otherwise I would have been in a group, and there would have been a group leader who did very different techniques to the ones that I used. And because the group leader of the drum making wasn't here, I was here with our lovely friend Brigitte, who everybody's met. If you've watched this before, you will have met Brigitte. And she facilitated, because she used to help at the drum workshop. She does the journeying. She brings the sort of the shaman journeying ability into the process.
She's an amazing shamanic healer, Brigitte is.
Well, one of the issues that it's been a big topic this week for us both, is the idea of shaman has been hijacked. The idea of what a shaman is and what they do and who they are is absolutely, totally been hijacked again to create this idea of some authority outside of you. And that's not what the work is about. It's an inner journey. And the facilitator of the inner journey, with the magic that they bring, has this name shaman, but that has totally been hijacked. So if you say to people about shamanic work, generally people think of ayahuasca or different plant medicines, which have also been massively hijacked. Like I worked in an ayahuasca school as a facilitator for quite a few years. And it was such an interesting trip for me to go on, because I worked with the medicine as a client, if you like, of the medicine to begin with. And it was such a profound process that I really wanted to help be in that energy, and it helps me, and it would, to facilitate other people having similar positive experiences that I'd had. But I realized after a couple of years, it's also been hijacked. It's all about money.
Mm.
And the medicines are so strong that the people who are not prepared correctly and then come out with integrative processes that can take quite a few months. It's not a 3 or 4 or 5 day retreat. That's just the first step. If you're working with plant medicine, what happens over the following 12 months, even up to 5 or 10 years, is actually where the work is. And so if you're not part of a community, like a tribe, where medicine is part of the tribal, initiation processes and the tribal wisdom gathering processes, then it is just another one of these, I'm the authority, I know how to work with ayahuasca, you just come and pay me and we'll sort it all out. And it's shit, because it's such an amazing portal opener. But again, the opening of the portals can really help. And I have seen some amazing healing. I'm not saying it doesn't help heal people. It does. And it gave me a lot of insights into what's happened for me and how I'm programmed. It was brilliant for that, for showing programs. But what it does, because it's such an amazing portal opener, it's the best way for entities to come. It's easy entities to come through those amazing portals when the space isn't held. And the whole of that space is all about the inner authority. And what is it? What's my intuition telling me? What is my innate wisdom that is here present with me constantly? Can I calm and quiet myself and my mind enough to attune into that inner innate wisdom body that we all have access to?
Mm. So how has it been, this process, directly one-on-one with Brigitte, making your drum?
Just so moving and so playful, and not taking it seriously at all. We've made videos when there's been a bit sort of ceremonial stuff going on, and we're just making videos because that's, for me, the videoing of it is like, it's like a diary. I've created a little diary of creating the drum. So I'm going to do a little bison medicine channel just to put the work on there. But it's been really fulfilling, because when I needed to talk about why did I choose, because I chose bison. So what was it about bison that I wanted? And what do I expect the bison's going to bring for me? And what is it I'm giving to bison? What is it I'm doing? How am I paying my way in the return of what I perceive I'm receiving from it as well? So the medicine is, again, it's an inner process. So it's bison medicine because I can look to the bison as a beautiful animal, as a power animal, as it eats a bit of grass. That's all it fucking eats is grass. And there's this hefty, huge, massive, monster-sized animal creating babies just from eating grass. That alone for me is, it's always, sheep eat grass and they grow wool and you can make a jumper. So that means the jumper's made out of grass. Who knew? The milk is made from grass. The cheese is made from grass. The lamb is made from grass. It's just and so this bison being this massive, huge monster with that ability to create milk and cheese and lovely stuff that we love, and babies, and then the meat when it's dead, and the bones and all of and the fat and the skin for drums and all of this amazing stuff. So really, like, a really profound connection to the being of the bison and how it serves the planet and how it serves, humanity, and how it serves nature, and really being able to receive that with a reverence that makes it into this two-way conversation of giving and receiving, transmitting and receiving. So, and using the transmission of the bison for me to receive, but also anybody who hears it. is going to receive the medicine from the drum. Anybody who sings with it, or when it's going to live longer than I will now. It's a brand new drum. It'll probably, if it's well cared for, it'll last a lot longer than I will on this planet. So it'll be here when I've gone. Who's going to have it then? Who's going to use it then? Because my medicine that I've worked with and I've woven into it are an integral part of the drum now. So whoever takes it or hears it or sings with it is also sharing in that medicine as well. So it's been so beautiful to create it with Brigitte. And we've been really playful, because we've watched a few Canadian elders who are drum makers, and we watched YouTube videos, and we chose which we liked, a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, and then we made the template for the shape of the skin, and it was a little bit different to what they'd all done. And then we found this great guy called Sean Littlebear, who he did the double lacing we didn't use elk and bison, he just used, but that double lacing thing, and that made it really easy, because normally you're really pulling it tight to make it the drums tight, but because we double wove the lace, that meant we didn't have to work really hard to stretch it, to tighten it, and it's tight as, and it's not even dry yet. So it's just been such a profound learning. And the beauty that we both recognized was, because we both love making clothes, and we're both good at knitting, and we're both good at sewing, and we both do crochet. And so we've both got all of these amazing skills of working with fabric, and the skin is a fabric. So to be able to use the skin and just trust our knowledge and our experience of knowing how to make clothes, or knowing how to make furniture, knowing how to weave, knowing how to shape and cut patterns. And we really had to trust ourselves. There was a little anxiety, because we're like, what if it doesn't work? What if it goes wrong? But it didn't. It worked perfectly. So it was lovely, because we proved that we needed guidance, but not very much. And the guidance that we found, those three lovely, lovely Canadian guys, were all super gentle, big giant men, but really gentle, really calm, really engaged with the process, talked a lot about prayer, a lot about meditation, a lot about blessing. It was such a lovely process to go through. And then the final product is just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. One of the things that we did that we weren't sure how it would work was we did these scallops, these croissants. We cut these little crescents out, because I wanted to see the wood. And usually they cover the wood with the skin. And I was like, no, I want to see the wood, because it's a beautiful piece of ash. So then we decided we'd have this like doily shape thing. It's the videos are great. We've got one, haven't we? That we're going to watch it.
Share the video. It's 10:02, Marion. So
oh, right, yeah, let's share the video.
Little videos, but before I share that, Jack says that's really beautiful, and thank you for sharing that. Gorgeous bison drum, he says, gorgeous. So we have a short video of you, one of the videos that you made, and a short video of Brigitte in 2016 that I took of her drum in using her, I think it was a Tibetan drum at that time.
Right.
So let's see if I can share screen, and hopefully window. Let me see if I can get this correct. Aha. Okay, so I have this view problem. Just bear with me. So that I was having earlier.
It's crazy that it goes so far down off the screen.
Okay, I've got it now.
Hey, well done.
Okay.
Handle, so it won't cut into my fingers. Super fatty and junky.
Look at that.
And then this really delicate elk. I didn't realize. Go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning.
Okay, hang on.
Look at a big fat bison. This little skinny elk.
It will shrink.
It's great.
Look. Marion's bison drum, inspired from the Cheyenne and the Arapaho.
Cheyenne and Arapaho teacher.
And look at that.
Sean Littlebear.
Sean Littlebear, thank you very much.
Really nice, meaty, fatty handle, so it won't cut into my fingers. Super fatty and junky.
Look at that.
And then this really delicate elk. I didn't realise the elk was going to be so delicate in comparison. Look at a big fat bison. This little skinny elk.
It will shrink.
It's great.
Yeah. So there we are.
And what I really love is that we've exposed a little of the wood and those lovely croissants, that Brigitte cut so carefully and diligently yesterday have really helped. So there's hardly any gathering. And as the skin shrinks as it dries, this will tighten against the wood. So there won't be any bits because this potentially could get caught on something, but this will dry against the wood. And then we're going to make a little plait from the elk tail that's left for hanging. I'm going to do that.
So can you see the light? Can you see her now?
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
And there's that lovely golden piece, isn't there, of where the fat is? That's really...
Yeah. So here we are. Oh, what's the feeling, Marion?
It's really magic. I want it dry now. Dry now. Dry now.
It's going to take time to dry. Oh, what an achievement, Marion. What an achievement. 5 years, Marion has been waiting.
It's waited for the skin.
5
years.
And for 5 years, Bison has been in my bedroom.
Oh. Sleeping Beauty. Now she's awake again. We've remembered her back into life.
And we finished this beautiful, Marion's finished this beautiful drum medicine. Now it's just going to dry and in 4 days.
It takes 4 days.
Beautiful days of absolute dedication, pacing, listening, attuning, and aligning. Would you add anything to that?
Just keep remembering that this belongs to another being.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a gift.
And it's
a gift, un cadeau.
Oui.
Precious, whatever you say.
Yes, a precious gift, un cadeau précieux.
Un cadeau précieux.
And
from the bison.
From bison.
And a little elk. A little elk. Little help from your elk friends.
Yes, so always remember that.
Yes, the medicine is the memory of the being.
Yes.
And the reverence for the being.
Yes.
That this is.
Yes.
That it wasn't it is the being.
Definitely.
So the spirit of the sound of this being will live on through whoever plays, sings with, listens to, or even simply hears this drum.
Even if it is Mother Nature.
Yes, sharing in the medicine of the bison.
Yes, because Mother Nature will hear it.
Yes.
Will hear her. So there we are. We're moving away from the light. The sun has just set. Here we are.
You can really feel the vibrations in the wood already, even before the sound is attuned.
We have one happy Marion and one beautiful drum. So there we are. Now she's got to do the handle.
Yes, we'll do a nice little plait. A plaited something or other.
Yeah.
A French plait.
Yes. Une tresse française.
Tresse française.
Voilà. So,
c'est ça.
Do you want to do a little bit more on this video, Marion? Are you happy with that?
I'm very happy with that.
Marion,
thank you to the bison medicine.
So blessings, and we, both of us, Maddie, Brigitte, and Marion, we hope we have inspired you.
Yes, if you'd like to make a drum, if you'd like to connect with an animal, a being that is going to help you on your next few steps of your journey.
And if you would like to do it the way we did it,
with presence, with time,
solid alignment, presence, time, and
meditation,
prayer, because this is bison is Wakantanka. It's a very
Wakantanka.
Wakantanka, yes, very deep medicine. Yes, so I'm bringing forth an invitation. So if you'd like it, the Source Center can welcome you, and we can offer different medicines, but definitely
choose your medicine.
yes, you choose your medicine, and it's a profoundly resourcing journey. Yeah.
I'm going to go for a swim. Can I take my drum for a swim?
Yes.
No, she needs to dry.
She needs to dry.
Matahari.
That's the name.
Matahari.
That's the name.
Mother, blessed mother, beloved mother, Matahari.
So let's welcome Matahari, beloved mother.
So
Oh,
beautiful,
I'm in
such a
the dark.
journey. And thank you for sharing that with us, Marion. It's very
Yeah.
touching. Yeah, deeply touching. We have we have lovely Wayne here. Right. So he says it's so lovely seeing us live. I miss being in Glastonbury. We're not in Glastonbury at the moment though, but you will be in October. And he says, I am in Colombia now, working with the shamans and drinking tea 3 times a week. I appreciate what you said, Marianne, about the teas.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's so important. You need to keep you have the power. And that's what any medicine will show you, that if you're open to recognize your own power. And that's really scary, because we've been programmed to be powerless. Yeah.
Yes. So before we leave, I just want to share this beautiful video that I took of Brigitte in 2016, drumming with her drum, not one that she'd made, but I think she said it was a Tibetan drum. Hang on, that's just bear with me. Hope you can hear it.
Yeah.
So she was drumming for the Capricorn full moon 2016, and that's a lovely track video. And this is in the Source Center that she's created.
I'm drumming these days the full moon in Capricorn. I'm going to drum for the elementals, for those who are unseen, for those who are locked or enslaved, for those whose voice has been lost. I'm drumming to celebrate life. I'm drumming to celebrate Earth. I'm drumming to celebrate the waters and each one of you who might listen to this little video. I celebrate this full moon in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, so the one that sets the boundaries, our physical body, the way we treat our Earth, the way we treat our bodies, and our relationship to our souls. So here is my gift to Mother Earth this day.
Mm.
So a lovely closing
Nice.
note.
Very nice.
So yes, Brigitte has done tremendous healing over the years, particularly in reference to lots of things that's been happening around where I am at the moment. So big love to you, Marion, and to Brigitte for showing how we can actually connect really deeply in with ourselves. And even though all this crazy shit is
This
going
show must go on. You do not have to be dragged along by the show. You have your heart and your soul, and you can attune to them right now. But you're watching us on a screen, and it's just a show. It's not you. It's not who you are. You need to remember who you are. And if you want to watch the show, but remember who you are, and remember everything else is a show. And the show must go on.
Yes, thank you. So thank you to everybody. Please share the video. We want to support and inspire people, and my Telegram link will be underneath. If I am taken down from Facebook, I have a Telegram channel. This is on Rumble, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, BitChute, Odyssey. So
MeWe you do as well, don't you?
Oh, and TikTok.
And TikTok? Oh yeah, Jack, TikTok that.
TikTok Jack, yeah. TikTok that Jack. So, and the other thing is that we have a new Elders Wisdom YouTube channel. So you can find us on all those places. Please share, because we're only going to make a difference if we can really, really share the light. We want to shine the light as brightly as possible at this time.
Shine your light. Be the light unto which, what was it? Be a light unto yourself.
Yes.
And then others can follow the light and find their own way to their own light.
That's right. So we're infinite beings of light, from my heart to yours, to everybody here. Big love to you.
Big love. I'm going to go and play with my drum.
Go and play with your drum. Yes, that's wonderful. So bye for now.
See you next week.
See you next week. Fingers crossed.